Good evening and hello, it's Vok here from Path of Exile 2. Tonight I'm going to make a video about my curse support build that I've made for this league using very unusually a Pathfinder. And so this is my league starter. It's about 16 days into league, and I've played this character for about 9 days. You can see that I've completed the majority of the content now. My atlas is fully unlocked and completed most of the challenge. I've got this crafting challenge and one boss to kill to complete all the challenges. It's been a really rewarding character to play. This is the second time I've played it in this league. It's even stronger than it was before due to some new crafting modifiers that exist in the pool. So this is ultimately, in its most basic form, this is a quad curse build. So it can cast 4 curses at any one time. The curses that I rotate through, I always use Enfeeble, which is a damage reduction curse, and Temporal Change, which is a slow curse, and it makes debuffs last longer and ailments last longer on enemies, and any effects last longer on enemies. And then I switch between Elemental Weakness, which is, elemental debuff for fire, cold, and lightning, Vulnerability, which is an armor debuff for physical damage, and Despair, which is a chaos debuff for chaos damage. In addition, I have an incredibly strong Wither effect, and Wither is, let's read what Withering does. I use Withering Presence, and what Wither does is, Withered applies 5% increased chaos damage taken, and can be inflicted up to 10 times. I've drastically increased the duration, length, and magnitude of Wither using gear and the skill tree, and my Wither also applies to fire damage from an item that I have, a mod on my chest. So my Wither increases chaos and fire damage by 82% more damage at its full effect. And it stacks much faster because I have a lot of aura effect in my build, because my build is based around aura effect and curse effect. So let's take a look at that. First, we're going to walk through the tree, and then we're going to walk through some itemization, and then we'll end back at the skills. So in this build, I level as a Pathfinder. One second. And in leveling as a Pathfinder, I have the goal, as soon as I get to maps, of picking up the ability to start from the Sorcerer's Tree and the ability to allocate travel nodes as 5% armor, evasion, energy shield. And in my tree, every single travel node that I have is that armor, evasion, and energy shield. I have no attributes, I have no other utilization of those travel nodes. And I have about 40 of them, I think, something like that. I have a whole bunch of them. I think it's something like 40 of them. That are travel nodes that are armor, evasion, and energy shield. So 200% more armor, evasion, and energy shield. And then this is just faster movement speed and inability to be stunned, which is high quality of life in mapping. So I take energy shield out of the gate. I get faster recharge of energy shield. This is all energy shield nodes here. Again, my travel nodes are all energy shield. I can come over here for curse magnitude. I go up here for curse magnitude and increase curse duration and curse effect. Curse duration doesn't really matter. I'll talk about how I get lingering whispers and zone of control I get from a jewel. You could also get it from an anoint, and my other anoint that I use is down here, Warlord Leader. Allies in your presence deal 40 increased damage and 40 increased presence area of effect. And this is curse duration and curse magnitude. This is all curse magnitude here. I pick up an additional curse here, and I have an additional curse on my chest to support the 4 curses. This is energy shield and intelligence. I need a little bit of intelligence, so I pick up the 25 plus 8 intelligence in these 2 points, but I path this way for the energy shield anyway. This gives me immunity to chaos resistance. I'm chaos inoculation. This is my wither stacking, so that you get immediately they get 8 seconds of wither, and then it's 40% more withered magnitude here. Then I travel some more energy shield. This is mind over matter, so all damage comes from mana before life. So it adds my mana as a layer of protection. So I have a pool of 13,200 energy shield and mana of 1,384. This is just energy shield recharge. This is energy shield and armor applies to elemental resistance. So 15% of armor applies to elemental damage, and energy shield armor applies to elemental damage and energy shield. This is where you get presence and aura effect here. Same thing here, aura effect, aura magnitudes, right? And I'm not worried that my aura doesn't affect allies because all of my auras are either going to designed only to affect me or to affect enemies. So this is okay. You come down here, this is all aura effect nodes here. I come over, this is some energy shield and armor. This is more aura magnitude. And then I go out to get this jewel, which gives me those two important notables that I looked at earlier. And then all of my jewels look something like this. They have area effective curses, increased energy shield, debuff expiry, so debuffs expire very fast, and ailment threshold equal to 15% of maximum energy shield. By having that, I also get some ailment threshold as energy shield here. So I almost have 110 ailment as energy shield. So to get an ailment, I have to take a really big hit. Like, you know, if my ailment threshold's 13, 14,000, I'm basically ailment immune in the majority of the situation of gameplay. Let's take a little bit of a look at the gear. These gloves have curse magnitude and withered magnitude. That's what they do. The belt has resistances and stats. The boots have a lot of movement speed, mana, and intelligence. Curse magnitude, spell skill level, and energy shield. The chest is very important. We'll focus here a little bit. The chest has an additional curse, reduced duration of curses on me, and it allows my withered to affect fire damage. So it allows my withered not only to give 80%, 82% more chaos damage, but also 82% more fire damage, so doubling the fire damage of most people. The rings are from the caster tree. I have a separate video about that I just posted today as well. This has 3 caster mods: Arcane Surge Effect, which does nothing; Spell Area Effect, which helps from my area of effect; Curse Magnitude, which is the main stat that I'm going for; and then Mana, which is good for me; Attribute Strength, really good ring here; and then this is just resists and stats, but as well as Curse Magnitude. I need to divine this for 2 more points of Curse Magnitude. The helm is just 6% increased damage taken, which takes my total increased damage taken for fire and chaos damage when I'm at full wither stacks from 82 to 88. Again, that's how I almost get into double damage on fire and chaos resistance when I'm playing the fire and chaos damage builds, like poison builds, or chaos builds, or incinerate builds, comet builds. There's so many good fire or chaos builds right now. And then this is a really interesting scepter. It has a big 72% presence area. Allies deal 83% damage, and then 18% aura magnitude on the bottom. Again, I can divine that for 2 more. And 25% aura magnitude on the top. It's easy. This is a really cheap one. I could easily get a much better one here. My charms are all the same charm. If I get hit, they grant guard. So guard is just another layer of defense. So when I take fire damage, I get guard. Lightning damage, I get guard. And cold damage, I get guard. Ideally, they'd all have 3 of 3, but right now it's just 2, 3, and 2. Now let's talk about the skills. So let's go back to the skills. So Frost Bomb gives exposure. I link my Frost Bomb with Magnified Area, Euthred's Right, and Overabundance 2, and Spell Echo, and Potent Exposure. Spell Echo makes it so there's 2 of them spawn. I don't know if you can see, there's 2 of them.
Not yet.
Once we can see that. This is Frost Bomb, so 2 spawn, and they 2 pulse. Each time they pulse, it's applying exposure, elemental exposure to the enemies, which is elemental resistance reduction. Withering Presence, we talked about, it applies chaos and fire degen. And then let's look at the strength of my curses. Malice provides critical weakness. So this is an aura that provides critical weakness. Again, my 5 seconds becomes about 13 seconds because of my temporal chains, and the critical weakness stacks up to 10 critical weakness very quickly. With my blasphemy, let's look at the area of the curses. There's 6.7 meter area, which is it's about a full screen. It's quite a large area. It's does the job. Let's just put it that way. And then if you see here, the base elemental resistance reduction of elemental weakness is minus 60. But with all of my aura magnitude and my curse magnitude, it goes up to minus 141 for normal monsters. And even when it's halved on bosses and unique monsters, it's still minus 70 resistances from elemental weakness. And then you get another 40 minus resistances from exposure. So you get basically minus 200 resistances from elemental weakness and exposure when you're just mapping on normal mobs. And then on bosses, you get 70 plus 20, so you get about minus 90, which just floors bosses if you're doing elemental damage, especially with the increases to damage from the withered effect. Temporal chains, let's look at chains. It's given 141% slow, and all the ailments are lasting 59% expiry reduction. Let's look at the blasphemy. It's minus 71% damage taken from everything, and even on bosses, again, it's half, so minus 35% damage taken. So it's a damage penalty. So if you read here, it's less damage, and again, less damage is much stronger than reduced damage. Less and more, again, are multiplicative, and increased and reduced in Path of Exile are additive. So it's a multiplicative damage reduction of 71, which, as you can imagine, is huge. And this stacks with Intimidate, which I apply whenever enemies come into my presence. And so it's 81% damage reduction for the first 4 seconds of any enemy that appears on my screen, which is huge. I don't take damage, and I can take a hit of... It basically takes a hit of a couple 100,000 to kill me. Or at least 100,000, let's say. Convalescence is basically, this is my mana flask. It's just convalescence lets me twice every 44 seconds I can start my energy shield recharge by pressing a button. So basically life flasks are useless on this build, so convalescence allows me to recharge my energy shield as a life flask would twice every 44 seconds. And that's because the cooldown here is something like 44 seconds, if I remember right. But 46 seconds cooldown. I can improve this a little bit, but it's working for me. And then my last curse is a ground effect curse, right? And I usually 90% of the time I'm leaving it on chaos resistance reduction. So, and the reason I am is because I use this thing that reflects the curse to me, but makes the curse stronger. So, and it makes the curse, it can stack the 4th curse. So curses inflicted support an additional curse and ignore curse limit, but have 20% less curse effect. Of course, I have tons of curse effect. So when I'm putting down chaos, this chaos resistance has minus 116% chaos resistance, and it will stay on the ground for something like 8 seconds, 8 or 9 seconds. And I can cast multiple areas, so I can cover the whole screen with that when we're doing breaches or abysses or whatever, you know. And I can pre-cast it if there's a danger situation. My mana flask is just a quick mana flask to refill my mana, which is another layer of defense. And then let's just look at vulnerability, because a lot of people ask, what's the armor reduction on the vulnerability? When it's in the blasphemy, the armor reduction is huge. It's minus 45,222 armor from normal enemies, which would be minus 22,500 armor from everything else. So huge armor reduction in the blasphemy setup. Whenever I'm playing with physical, maybe a plant build or a physical build or a monkey build that's got a lot of physical, I'll swap in the vulnerability and swap out the elemental weakness. So generally I'm either playing with a elemental weakness and chaos team or a physical and chaos team. In the situation where you're playing elemental weakness, vulnerability, and despair, you can swap a ring out. I can swap this ring out for Dodra's Damning Ring that has 30 to all res. It's a very expensive Dodra's Damning Ring because it's 15 with a corruption of 15. It's a 15 with a corruption of 16, so it's 31 all res. And so I put that Dodra Damning on instead of this ring, and then I can have 5 curses. But rarely do I need to do that. Just depends. I mostly just try to play with a party comp which supports this. Again, other areas of damage are coming from being in my presence increases, so it's like 80% increased damage here. And I didn't look at my amulet. My amulet's energy shield, spirit, and resistances, and 19. This is huge. The 19% damage taken recouped as mana. So that I'm always my mana when I'm in maps. My mana is just always refilling when I take hits, even if the hits go against my energy shield. My mana will refill, so I have no mana problems when I'm getting lots of little small hits. Again, the last notable is Warlord Leader, which is presence and more presence damage. It's been a really fun build. It's a really fun league starter because I'm able to level as Pathfinder and then immediately upon maps switch over to this build. I've had a lot of fun with it. Let's think. If you have any questions, you can please hit me in game at VOC, VOC, or on Discord at Gentry number 5659. Again, this gear is really cheap, effective starter gear, I would say. I have maybe 20 divines invested into all of this gear. These gloves are probably the most expensive item I have. I made them myself. This belt is about a divine. None of this is more than a couple of chaos. These boots I made myself, starting with I think I started with some exceptional boots. And then I used that 60% effect Sockman as augment essence. I bought these rings early on in the league for a few divine each. This was the most expensive item that I paid for. It's probably about 6 or 7 divines. This was 2 or 3 divines, 2 or 3 divines, 2 or 3 divines, and 2 or 3 divines. So, 20, 25 divines. The gems are a little bit, depending upon what level you have. If you just get level 17 and 18 gems, they're very, very cheap. To get level 20 gems, level 19 and 20 gems, I still don't have level 20 gems on all my gems yet, because level 20 gems are 5 divines each right now. But even level 17, 18, and 19 gems will carry you into tier 15 maps, no problem. There's not a huge gain from level 17 gems to level 20 gems. And if you're getting some spell skill gems from your amulet or spell skill gems from your focus, it balances out, no problem. It's really easy. You can just jump into parties like to have me. You can jump into any party and on the public parties, and you're very tanky. You can just walk around the map and pick up items and ID items in the map and just stay with the party. Again, the presence area is very huge. I should, let me go. I'll go demonstrate the presence area just in some zone real quick. Let's see. Let's go. Find a zone, an open zone. This is not where I wanted to go. Yeah, I mean, you can see I'm all the way down here. This is pretty good. So it's like the full screen. If I can see the monsters, they're cursed, right? Let me try to see if here we go. This is good. You can see when he walks. As soon as he hits, boom, right there, they're cursed. So the area of the curses is pretty huge. You can see how everything is almost immobilized. It's like slow motion, right? So, again, it's really easy to move out of damage, and even when something's hitting you, if you look, like they've been here longer than 4 seconds, but for the first 4 seconds, it's 81% less damage. And now it's 71% less damage, and you can see my slow is at 141%, my elemental's at 141%, the less damage 71%, the 15%, I forget what the 15% is. 80% is the wither effect, the 10% is the crit weakness, the 15% is a hinder, so that's a movement speed. So their movement speed is slowed 156%, so their action speed is slowed 141%. I don't believe you can completely immobilize them anymore. You used to be able to completely immobilize them. If you were on the screen, they wouldn't be able to move at all. But yeah, it's pretty funny to see them do their best here. And again, my energy recharge is something like 3 seconds. So in 3 seconds it starts to recharge. But if I have a problem with, let's say I'm getting hit harder, remember I can hit Q and my energy recharge starts and is uninterruptible for a period of time. So again, really high quality build, really fun to play. You can dodge out of packs all the time. Another thing is you can't get stunned, right? Let me try. You can't get hard stunned. You can't get tripped with this build. So you can move very fast, and you never fall down, which is great. And that's part of your ascendancy. So it's easy to stay with your party, easy to be where you're supposed to be to get the curses applied, and do your job. Yeah, again, I'm Vok. Let's go through this. I didn't show the stats. I'm Vok. This character is Vok_AI. AI is taking over everything, I guess. My armor, you can see it applies 67 physical reduction and 23 elemental reduction. My dream here, I have 80 to all resistances from my chest. 13,000 energy shield with like 2,000 energy shield recharge a second. Elemental ailment threshold. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. My elemental element threshold is 15,389. This is incredibly important because I'm immune to bleeding. It's incredible. I don't think I'm immune to bleeding. I don't know what this line means. I think I'm not immune to bleeding, but I'll have to look at that. I have 15,389. It's a huge. The elemental ailment threshold here. Let's read it. Is apply relevant. Yeah, they just have to hit me for a huge amount to apply an ailment to me. Let's see. I have some of the stuff that purposely bypasses my energy shield so that I get a little bit more benefit of this damage taken as mana. So this is effectively 5% global Fizz and elemental reduction on top of the other reductions. Forget exactly where that comes from, but it's somewhere in the tree. And then I have 37% base movement speed, but my sprint speed is a lot more because I have a lot of sprint speed bonuses. Yeah. Questions? I love to talk about this build and meet new people. Hit me at Vok if you're looking for a cursor to play with. I love doing T15 and T16 content right now. I've got a full atlas. If you got some juice, I can host, or Discord at Gentry. Like this, Gentry number 5659. Thanks for watching, and hope you enjoy an interesting take on a support build. If you have any comments about, I know there's some ways I can get some more aura magnitude and curse magnitude. I just haven't really figured it out. If you can figure out how to make this build stronger, or tell me where I'm making a mistake, or figure out if there's a better way to path through everything here, I'm sure I'm not perfect. So any feedback on the build is appreciated. Thank you very much. Stay safe. Bye now.